Welcome once again to the Purge of the BS. It's the morning show. We're on the vertical live today, doing this one again. I got a really cool story for you today. Very interesting story regarding driving while sober. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you catch all the new videos when they come out, because there's always something popping here at Purge of the BS. So let me bring this thing up here for you. Wow. There we go. Hold on. I'm going to need a stogie for this. Y'all got to check this story out real quick.
Lauren, we just obtained this data on Friday, so now we're sharing it with prosecutors and lawmakers to try to get their reaction. Representative Russell says he wants the TBI to create a database for all crimes in Tennessee, showing what a person was charged with and whether or not they were convicted. We know sober people charged with DUI often have their mugshots appear online. If this database is created, it at least would be a public record showing what the crimes against them were dismissed. Marius?
Jeremy, you keep pushing on this story. Thank you. Well,
that was not the damn clip I was looking for. But nonetheless.
I'm just
Well, let's go with this one then.
saying, if you have falsely arrested him, you're going to be in trouble.
Okay, ma'am.
I promise you, because I know my son.
Body camera footage shows a mother's outrage as her son is arrested for a crime he did not commit. Tonight, 2 THP troopers are being sued in federal court.
they arrested a Tennessee man for DUI who was sober the entire time. It's the latest development in Jeremy Finley's sobering problem investigations, where he's finding sober Tennesseans arrested for DUI.
Here we go.
Can you get back in your vehicle for me?
Okay, I will.
Ask yourself this about your mom.
What's the problem?
If you'd been arrested on the interstate and your mother happened to drive by and see you,
Why has my son been arrested?
For driving under the influence, ma'am.
He has not been drinking, sir.
what would your mom say? Well, in the case of Thomas Manis, who'd just been arrested for DUI while claiming he was sober,
Got anything to drink today?
his mom had plenty to say.
But I'm just saying, if you have falsely arrested him, you're going to be in trouble.
Okay, ma'am.
I promise you, because I know my son.
And it turns out mother does know best.
Here we go.
Manis was arrested and charged with DUI, but his blood work shows he was completely sober. No alcohol, no drugs. And now he's suing both the state
He should.
troopers who arrested him, citing unlawful seizure and false arrest. And it's what's once again captured on police body camera before the field sobriety test is even given that raises more questions about why police are arresting innocent people, charging them with a crime they didn't commit.
Now, before I get to the next scene, that's a good question. Why are the police charging innocent people with crimes they didn't commit? Are there not enough criminals out here to actually arrest for actual crimes? I don't know. But it's a good question.
Real quick, you may remember, as part of our sobering problem investigations, we showed you what a Rutherford County deputy said about a pool player he just pulled over for a DUI. Take a listen.
Never known a sober person to shoot much pool. Oh, I know.
He arrested that driver,
Really, yo?
who ended up being sober too. Now, watch what is said about Thomas Manis last December. He was pulled over, not for swerving or speeding, but for having too dark of tinted windows
Okay,
in
so it's a
Monroe
tint
County
ticket.
in East Tennessee. Before the field sobriety test even begins, Trooper Billy Yates Matoy says he knows a relative of Manis's and has a suspicion about Manis.
Probably got weed, probably high.
Okay.
I guarantee you smoked weed.
See,
bud.
this is what I be talking about,
When was the
man.
last time you smoked marijuana?
Not anytime soon. I'd say probably about 4 years ago.
So if I done a blood test on you right now, nothing's come back in your system.
It's come back clear. It's come back clear.
According to Manis's lawsuit, he successfully performed each field sobriety test, but still was charged.
Hold up. Now, before we get into that piece, he asked him about marijuana, but he didn't mention anything about smelling any marijuana or that he saw his eyes, or like there was no reason to even ask about it. And he's like, when's the last time you smoked? I mean, anybody who's ever smoked or been around people that smoke knows that, truth be told, your driving is not like you might drive a little slower. You know what I'm saying? But you're not swerving all over the road like you're drunk. It's a different I don't know. It's just when they ask about that, it's like, okay, are you asking about that just because you want to find something legal to deal with? Or are you asking about that because of my driving? And they said in the beginning of this, he got pulled over for a tent ticket. So he wasn't even all over the road. So what are we doing here? Anyway, let me let him finish up, or at least let this one finish up. But y'all see how I'm getting frustrated. And I want you to notice right away. Right away. This ain't about no black and white thing. This is a white guy that's being pulled over for this. And the other guy in the other clip was another white guy being pulled over for this. The issue is the principle. So I don't care if it was a black person, white person. These kind of things need to be dealt with immediately by whatever precinct or whoever the hell they report to. They need to stop this kind of stuff.
Am I in custody?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Arrested?
Yes, sir. For driving under the influence.
Oh my gosh. Is there any way I can do a breathalyzer and just...
We don't do breathalyzers, sir.
You can imagine what his mom had to say about that.
Let me tell you, did you give him a breathalyzer?
Man, we don't do breathalyzers.
Did you give him a... Then this is not right.
Ma'am?
How can you do this?
And sometimes it's not what you hear or see that says a lot. Because after the field sobriety test, Trooper Schreiner goes behind the car to talk to Trooper Yates-Matoy and turns his body cam audio off.
Here we go with the body cam audio off.
For 30 seconds,
on,
what they talk about, we don't know.
Police.
And when the tow truck driver arrives to pick up Manis's vehicle, the driver asks Schreiner this question. And the audio is once again turned off.
Wow. So, Jeremy, can state troopers do that? Just turn off their audio?
Well, Marius, we asked the Tennessee
Obviously.
Highway Patrol that. A spokesman said they can't comment because of the pending litigation. So I asked for their policy on turning off audio and why they don't use breathalyzers anymore. And we are waiting to get that. Once we get it, we'll let you know.
That's
You might have
bullshit.
noticed in that story that we didn't speak to Manis. His attorney, Scott Canabos, said they couldn't comment because the case was pending.
It still devastated me.
So before I get to the next one, and this is currently about a situation in Tennessee. 600 or more drivers found sober but were arrested for driving under the influence. As you saw in that last clip, he didn't search a car, didn't find any drugs, he didn't find any open alcohol, he didn't do a breathalyzer. Apparently the guy passed all the field sobriety tests. Like, why are we arresting people for DUI if they haven't deemed UI or done UI, if that makes sense? Like, what's going on? See, where's the, you don't understand. If you've never been arrested, even for something small, like you spend a day or so in jail, like a DUI, they don't let you go immediately. It's not one of those, trespassing charges where you kind of go down there, fill out some paperwork to give you a court date and maybe a citation or whatever, and you just go along your merry way. When you catch a DUI arrest, you have to go be processed. You got to go sit in the jail. You got to go down there and get a bail review. That stuff doesn't normally happen the same day, especially if it's a DUI, because they think you need to sleep off your drunk or whatever. So they don't throw you right in front of a judge. You're going to spend at least 24 hours down there. Normally more than that. And if they really think that you were doing something and they're waiting on blood work and all of that, you might be sitting there with a no bail. So you lose your job, you lose a whole bunch of stuff for just driving with a tent, with too dark of a tent in that one clip. So a lot of folks say, well, if you don't do the crime, I get that. For the people that are out there human trafficking and murdering and assaulting and beating up everybody, okay, those folks need to go to jail. But if you're driving in a vehicle, you're not being reckless, there's no scent of anything in the car, there's no open containers in the car, you pass all the sobriety tests, what else are you supposed to do to not go to jail that day? Even your mama come out. And when mama come out, see, I don't know, that might not have been the same if that was like a black mama. Because they can be very upset about things like that. Now, some people are going to try to remain calm, but imagine that's your kid and your kid wasn't doing what they're saying your kid was doing, and they're about to take your kid to jail. Yeah, I'd speak up too. So check this other little piece out. Now, like I said, I don't want y'all to think that I'm doing this on some white versus black, the police messing with black people stuff. These are white people in these videos. These are just regular American citizens. So race doesn't really matter when it comes to the bullshit. The bullshit does not discriminate.
It's still something I'm working through even now.
That's the reaction tonight to what WSMV4 Investigates has now uncovered about sober people charged with DUI.
We told you last week in our ongoing sobering problem investigations, 609 people have been charged with DUI in Tennessee, and they were completely sober.
The drivers we've featured so far were right here in Middle Tennessee, but Chief Investigative Reporter Jeremy Finley found this is a statewide problem.
Just moments into his horizontal gaze assessment last November, Henry Esslinger
And make
let
sure you
state
hit the like
troopers
button,
know
man. Don't just stop
he
in here
needs
and
to
just
stop
stare.
his field sobriety
Interact.
test.
Hit that like button. Keep them reactions going. Let me know you're
Not
here.
very well. Full of adrenaline from being in an accident.
After rear-ending a tractor-trailer, troopers note he has a slurred speech and glassy eyes.
I feel very shaky right now from the adrenaline.
What you should,
Troopers
if you've ever
suspect
been in an
he's
accident.
under the influence.
Man, I haven't drank nothing.
Are you willing
Now,
to
he
get
does
blood
sound a
test,
little
sir?
slurry, though.
Yeah,
I'll give him that on
I'll
this
do
one.
it. Breathalyzer, I'll do whatever.
After giving blood, Esslinger is arrested.
If you wouldn't mind, just put your hand
Hey, he
over
gave blood on the
Charged with
scene.
DUI. Months
They do that
later,
now?
his alcohol and blood work shows
Months
he was
later.
completely sober.
Months
I
later.
just felt like I was way too shaken up from the accident. I was still trying to process what all had happened.
What's it like to be charged with a crime you didn't commit?
So it doesn't feel good at all.
Esslinger wasn't arrested in Middle
No
Tennessee.
shit.
Instead, in Haywood County, near Memphis, in West Tennessee. Head
going
east
on in
to
Tennessee,
Sevier
y'all?
County, and that's
Somebody
where you'll
from
find the
Tennessee, tell
mugshot
me.
of Reed Hawley.
He slaps the cuffs on me.
Arrested by state troopers for DUI in 2019 after showing several clues of impairment and given a
$1,000
breathalyzer.
bond.
The bottom line is it was all zeros. And he showed it to me. And I said, "Oh, really?" I said, you think you want to let me go now? And he goes, "No, you're under the influence of something."
But as blood tests
what I'm saying?
showed,
I mean,
no
under the
drugs in his
influence of your
system.
bullshit.
His DUI charge dismissed,
what it is.
but not before he had to pay his attorney more than $7,000 and cover his own court costs.
And I paid the clerk $350. And the trooper and another trooper were standing there. And I looked at him and I said, "You happy now?" I said, "You see what you did, what you cost me for this mistake? It's pretty costly.
Say it, that
How are you going to
bullshit?
reimburse me for this? Is the state going to reimburse me for this?"
No, they're not.
He just snubbed me, looked at me like I was garbage, and just walked away down the hall.
Head south to Marion County outside Chattanooga, and that's where Nate Collins fought a charge of DUI in possession of a handgun after failing a field sobriety test last year.
It was terrifying. I thought it was so surreal, knowing that I was innocent.
What did it do to your life to get this DUI charge?
I didn't get into grad school. They couldn't tell me a specific reason for that, for legal reasons. But I do think the fact that I had pending drug
Pending charges will mess
We
you
told
up if you
Collins
don't know.
about the
I'm
hundreds
telling
of
you.
other drivers we found just like him.
Now, to be honest, just to let you know, innocent until proven guilty is a phrasing, but it's not 100% true. If you have pending charges for anything, even though it's not a conviction, if somebody does a certain type of background check, they'll find pending charges. Convictions are a little bit different, but a pending charge still means that there's a chance you could go to jail. So when you're trying to get a job, they'd be like, "We don't want to hire this person because there's a good chance that they might go to jail after we hire them, and then we're going to lose out on the, all the training that we give to this person." So innocent until proven guilty is not really true. That's actually some bullshit, because the second you even have a pending charge, they treat you like you're guilty. So just saying. Let me let this finish up here. Hold on.
Across the state.
So you're among the
And if you're from
609
Tennessee,
innocent people who have been
and
charged
you
with
tune
this
into
crime.
this, throw me a
It
thumbs
still
up in the chat. Let me
devastated
know
me.
what's going on in Tennessee. What's
It's
up
still
over
something
there?
I'm working through even now. And I think about 608 other people to have gone through that, to maybe not have had the resources I had. Wow. If I'm honest, I could cry right now thinking about it.
I mean, it breaks our hearts watching this, Jeremy. The problem is that clearly people are failing field sobriety tests, but they are sober.
Yeah, that's right, Tracy. So here's what we're going to do next. We're taking.
Hold on. They're not failing the field sobriety test. So she just stated that was incorrect. They're not failing the test. They're passing the test, and then the police officer is just saying, I still think you're under the influence or something. And then they take them to jail. They do the blood test. They do the blood work. They do all of that. And they come back months later, not the next day, months later to tell the person, "Oh, yeah, my bad. after you done charged up $7,000 for lawyer fees and missed time at work and all that kind of stuff. So these are also the things that need to be dealt with. It's not about defunding the police. It's not about that, because there's a number of police officers out there who are good, upstanding people. A number of cops who would, if they're driving down the road and they see you broke down on the side of the road, they're going to come over and help, not ask no questions about IDs and start running your tags and all that, just help you out. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of good police out here, but there's enough bad ones that is causing a problem that the daggone news got to talk about it. The news has to talk about your department, your state, arresting people who are sober. That's a problem. That's a problem. And somebody needs to deal with that. How can we have faith that the police are going to be able to respond correctly in some real situations that might be coming up when they're spending their time doing stuff like this? I don't know. Let me let them get their last minute out of here. Hold on.
All of this to NHTSA, along with investigating safety defects, that agency created the manual for field sobriety testing. So we're asking them now for reaction to our findings, and we're going to let you know how they respond. Also, I want to let you know we've got some breaking information for you on a sober driver we told you about earlier this year. Our investigation found Jeff Adams, there he is, along with 2 other sober drivers, were arrested for DUI by the same police officer in Goodlettsville. Like the other 2 sober drivers, Adams' blood work came back showing he had neither alcohol nor drugs in his system. Well, Adams' attorney sent a letter to Goodlettsville's city attorney stating that they intended to sue. Well, we just confirmed that the city went ahead and paid Adams $5,000 while not admitting fault. And Adams tells me he is satisfied with that amount. Lauren?
Okay.
First of all, 5 stacks. I guess, they paid him a couple dollars to be quiet about it. Is 5 stacks worth it to y'all? I don't know. 5 stacks seems a little low to me, but it all depends on what kind of damages come as a result of the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of damages come. So if you lose your job and all that kind of stuff, I think you should probably get a little more than $5,000. Like, that's maybe a month for some people of work. That's not very much if you lost your job. Now, hopefully your job gives you your job back once all of that works out. But if it doesn't, like, you stuck. You understand what I'm saying? And they don't get to, an apology is, apology doesn't fix all that. We're out here in the world, man. People judge us regular people off of paperwork, background checks. They don't give most of us an opportunity to answer or respond to some paperwork. So if they see a DUI on there, even if your job doesn't have nothing to do with driving, they look at it as you're an irresponsible person, and then all of a sudden you can't get the gig. Now, you can be president with charges. You can do that. But for us regular working folk, that's not possible. That's not possible. So give me a second here. Hey, if you're just stopping into the channel, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Jump in the chat. Let me know you're here. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know where you're from, because I want somebody from Tennessee or even a police officer to help me understand, how are you able to arrest somebody who's not under the influence for being under the influence? If there's no probable cause, there's no smell of marijuana or no open alcohol containers or no smell of alcohol or any of those things, and then you run a field sobriety test and you do all of this kind of stuff, how are you still able to arrest somebody? That's too much power, in my opinion. You got to prove something. What's the point of the field sobriety test if not to prove that you're intoxicated? And I've had a number of people tell me this, that they've done the field sobriety test, blown a 0, and still go to jail. So it's not just Tennessee. I've been subject to it once or twice myself, where they're just throwing their arm of power around, and I'm not with all that. Police are supposed to protect and serve. And how are you protecting me if you're locking me up, possibly destroying my livelihood by my job and things like that? If you get locked up on, like, let's say a Friday, you miss a couple days of work, you lose your job, those police don't even care. At least the ones that do stuff like this. I'm sure there's some that do, because not all of them are like that. And I hate to you know, we can only really highlight the bad apples because that's what we want to correct. So I want anybody who's watching this channel to know I'm not one of those F the police types. I'm F the bad police types. You see what I'm saying? A little bit different. I respect my boys in blue and whatever color their uniforms are. In certain places, they're brown and green and all that. But I respect those folks because they put their lives on the line. A lot of them put their lives on the line for us. But the ones that are out there doing the goofy shit, I don't like that because it makes people not trust the good ones. And then the good ones end up paying the price for it. And that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. It's not about, you know, F the police and don't trust the police. No, it's let's vet these police. Let's really get behind the investigations and find out what's really going on. Because if this person the same officer can do these things multiple times to the point where it's documented, 600 different people getting arrested for driving under the influence that weren't even under the influence of anything. That's sad. That means 600 people had to pay out some money at some point. They paid bails, they paid for lawyers, they paid court fees, they paid for impound fees for when their cars got towed. They paid money. As one guy got $5,000 back, but that's probably what he had to pay anyway out. So he probably just got back what he paid out. I don't know. I know plenty of drunk people in the world that could probably use some DUIs. You know what I'm saying? So hold on one second here. So this is a major developing story, considering what's going on right now with our recent call to action for police. Because the police are supposed to now be initiated into, I guess, rounding up people when this mass deportation thing happens. And I fear that the bad apples will rise to the top, so to speak, and use it as an opportunity to be 100% pure D dick nuggets. Okay? Now, if you're not aware of what a dick nugget is, it's something that is like a barnacle. It just grabs on and holds on and it sucks the life out of you. So that's what a dick nugget is, okay? And that's what these guys are going to do. They're going to grab on to this initiative and they're going to hold on to it. If you're already arresting people for not doing anything, imagine what happens to people that do something.